Yo, 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 what up, everybody?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What up, what up?
Although,
Yeah, first off, we got to talk about how Karen was literally calling my seller while I was trying to get a contract signed.
Jeez.
literally. So I'm on the phone with the seller, like literally going over the agreement. And she's like, wait, hold on. Karen's calling me. Karen's calling me. I got to answer. I got to answer. I'm like, yo, no, you're okay. You don't have to. I was like, I told her that I'm calling you. Maybe she messed up or something. Oh my god. You know that is the second time. Karen, this is like a good thing. This means that you're a savage. You're a hammer and stuff. Your follow-up game is crazy. This is the second time that I was literally in the middle of getting a contract signed and Karen calls the seller. I, there was one time, this is probably like a month and a half ago. I'm on a seller's appointment, right? Literally have the contract right in front of the seller, like about to get the thing signed. And she gets a phone call. She hops on the phone, and it was Karen. It was Karen following up with her. So if you guys want to understand how we get deals done, it is because people like Karen, Felipe, Alex on our team, Regine, Zai, they just are ruthless. You got to be ruthless with a follow up. Like it's so important. But like that ruthless, like we're about to get the contract signed and we're still following up with you.
Funny.
I love it. So what do you guys got?
I was gonna ask you. I reignited this lead that we had a long time ago in Plymouth. Um, and I gave him an offer. He didn't go for the cash, so then I brought up Novation because I saw in the notes he was interested in the Novation in the past,
Okay.
and he's still interested in doing it.
What's
Now
his
I
name?
just want to. What's his name? Thomas. I'm not sure if you
I
remember.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I told him that because he wants to buy it, he's gonna look at a house in Maine this weekend, and if he likes it, he wants to buy it, and he wants our offer to be like he wants to know how much he's getting from the house, so he knows if he can afford the house, right? So
Okay.
I told him we could do an ovation at 270, and you can get paid out maximum 3 months, and he was fine with that. But the question is, does that work for a seller to have that agreement in place and then to buy a house with that agreement, use it as like a credibility thing?
Yeah, so think about it. Think about um let's say Felipe owned a house and he wanted to buy another house. Let's say,
Mhm.
Felipe lives in Plymouth and Felipe wants to buy a house in Rhode Island. But Felipe owns this house in Plymouth, and in order to buy the property in Rhode Island, he has to sell that house. He has to sell the house in Plymouth. Felipe would have to, like, let's just say he owned a retail ready house. Felipe would list it on the market, his property, right, in Plymouth. And then in the listing agreement, it would state like contingent upon Felipe closing on another property in Rhode Island. See what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So essentially, that's what would happen. Because a novation agreement, all it is like if you really think about it, it's a higher level listing, right? Like we're doing a little bit more than just listing it for the seller. We're doing some renovations and then listing it. So it's like a gassed up type of retail listing. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, because that's what I told him. I said it's actually good to have an agreement in place when you do make an offer because they'll just make you look more credible because you already have the
Yeah. So
guarantee.
as far as that agreement, like our agreement wouldn't help them too much, but the end buyer agreement would. So let's just say we list it as a novation, right?
Okay.
And and then a buyer comes in. Let's just say we listed it today, and a buyer came in 2 weeks, and they went under a purchase and sale agreement with the end buyer and our seller. That would help out with him buying another property in Maine. I guess we could kind of use our offer and proof of funds and everything to help him out. Yeah, we could, because our novation agreement is essentially a purchase and sale agreement. So we could do that. We can get proof of funds and we can essentially um, make it look like to whatever property he's buying in Maine, make it look like we're buying the house, but realistically, we're just listing it. So I guess you're right. Yeah, we could use our agreement.
Okay, that's what I was telling him.
Either way, don't worry about it. If he's agreeing to 270 and 270, I kind of forget the
No, yeah.
lead.
So here's what happened. I redid the comps and everything. Make sure there's any updates, and the comps are pretty much the same. That area hasn't really changed in the specific neighborhood, so it's the same number. So 270 is novation, works out, and
What's the
240.
ARV?
It's like 400, but I put ARV like
Dang.
3, and I put ARV. I think I did 380 just to be safe. I said let's bring it down even more. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's good, dude. Honestly, if that's ARV, we can end up just buying it in cash if he's willing to come down. Because I think from what I remember, I think his number was at like 240, and it doesn't need that much. It needs like maybe 30 grand worth of work.
Yeah, that's what I was estimating.
Unless it needs a septic.
It doesn't. He got it 4 years ago.
Cool. Yeah, bro. I lock that thing up, bro.
Yep.
Don't worry. Don't worry about the offer on the other property. Just lock it up.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to solve his problem, because he won't. If you think about it, he won't sell his house unless he gets another house.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm just trying to make sure it'll flow for his in his favor.
Mm-hmm. That seller call, Karen, that you just had me go on earlier. What I had to do is I had to bring it back to the basics of real estate. Like, how does a transaction get done, right? Like a retail transaction, when somebody's like a retail buyer, when they're going to buy a house. And I broke it down to her and I said, so here's what ends up happening. You go to a realtor and you say, hey, realtor, I want to buy a house. And the realtor ends up saying, okay, great. Let's get you pre-approved. So step number 1 is going to the realtor. Step number 2 is having the realtor contact the loan officer for you, unless you have your own, and get you pre-approved to buy a property. Step number 3 is after the pre-approval is all set. Step number 3 is going out and shopping around, like going out to the mall. It would be like getting approved for a credit card, right? And then being like, okay, now I got approved for the credit card. Let me go to the mall and shop around. Okay. So you got to shop around to the retail market. Finally, you find a house that you like. You found a store that you want to buy a pair of shoes in or something like that. Okay. Then you have to, let's just say this specific mall, you could negotiate, like you could barter or something like that, right? Like, let's just say it's like the kiosks in the mall. You can typically negotiate with those people. You would then contact the listing agent, right? You'd have your realtor contact the listing agent and negotiate with that agent and say, hey, I want to buy this house. Here's my offer. Right. And then you guys get into some negotiations or whatever. And then you come to an agreement and boom. Thing that I told her is I was like, at the moment, she just got the pre-approval letter. So at the moment, you're on step number 2, which is really, really good. Because in the middle of step number 2 and essentially step number 2 and 4, like in the middle of that, you're going to be submitting offers. What's going to help you submit the offer is having essentially the credibility, like the money in the bank. That's what it essentially is with us buying your house. That's what it essentially is. It essentially is like, hey, we have these funds set aside to buy another house. And she's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And I said, yeah. So what can end up happening is you could use our credibility. You could use our funds and our, our purchase and sale agreement and everything in order to push your offer a little bit further for the next property. Right? Give me 1 second. Is this making any sense, Felipe?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that'll help you push the ball forward for the next property. So, and she's like, okay, great. So I was like, my suggestion would be to, whether it's with us or whether it's with another buyer, my suggestion would be to try to get an agreement in place for your property before you start submitting offers, because it actually makes your offer a little bit stronger. Okay, great. Well, how do I do that?
Or email.
So she ended up closing herself.
Yeah.
Right. But essentially that's kind of what I would say to that guy, Tom. So just break it down. Sometimes people need it to be broken down so simple, and then it makes more sense. It resonates.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Literally, it got to the point where she's like, "Oh my god," because think about it. She's worried about the next steps. Like, she wants to move. Tom wants to move, right? So once you get them to realize like what the best next steps are for them, they're like, "Oh my god, yes. How do I get that? Like, how do we do the next steps? What's the next step? Let's go."
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally, that lady ended up closing herself. Go back in the CRM and listen to that call. Like, you'll be like, holy crap. But yeah, so yeah, dude, I think that's what you meant, right?
Yep.
Do you have any other questions for it?
Not really. I just wanted to confirm what I was thinking was correct, so I wasn't giving out any false information to the seller.
Yeah, just let them. Essentially, you just got to break it down to help him understand that, hey, getting an agreement in place, you don't have to go into like, hey, we're going to list your property and then bring in the retail buyer. You don't have to do all that. Just get him to understand that, hey, once you have an agreement in place with another buyer, it's going to help you push the ball forward. We would never close on your property without you getting another property, but our offer and our agreement is going to help you push the ball forward in Maine. Now, we don't have to perform on your property if you don't find the property in Maine, but all I'm saying is our agreement is going to help you. So let's just say you don't end up finding the property in Maine, whatever. We don't end up doing the deal. All it's going to do at this point is help you and get him to realize that. See what I mean?
Okay, so in terms of timeline, should he have that agreement in place before he goes and looks at the house?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm just trying to understand. Should I try to go for the contract this week or next week?
Just get it done as soon as possible. So you get it under agreement, right?
Yep.
And then with the novation, you just list it. And then buyers come in, whatever. We're not really in control of when that agreement happens between the end buyer, like the retail buyer, and us. But all that's going to do, that process, right? All that's going to do is help the situation.
Okay.
It's going to help him get the property in Maine. See what I mean?
Yep.
So as far as timing, he can get into an agreement with a buyer whenever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that I understand.
So with that being said, there's no time limit on when we need to get it locked up under agreement. Like, you can get things locked up under agreement and have it say close date 6 months or sooner, right?
Yep.
And then perform on it whenever they close on another property or whenever they are under agreement with the other property. So for us, we have control, right? Like, we can kind of close whenever. For them and them finding a property to close on, they're not in control of that. They have to get an offer accepted. Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yep.
So what was the question?
So the beginning question was, can this seller use our agreement to make his offer more credible?
Yeah.
That was my initial question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's how I break it down. Sorry, I went like way longer than expected.
No, yeah, you're good. Because the way I was thinking was, if we did a cash offer, we can close when he's about to buy, right? So you'll have that cash to buy the house. But in an ovation, like, we only close once we sell the property. So he can't buy a property until we actually close on his property, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like once our end buyer, if he needs the funds from this property to get onto the next property,
Yeah.
yes. Once the end buyer, what is an end buyer? Do you know what an end buyer is?
For us, right? On our side?
Yes.
Yeah, is our cash buyer,
Mm-mm.
or for the novation is the conventional buyer, I should say.
In a lot of people kind of um, they'll call an end buyer a cash buyer, but like realistically, that's not what an end buyer is. An end buyer is the end. Who buys it in the end? The retail buyer, the person that's going to live in the property. That is the end buyer. A lot of people will say, "Oh, like I got to go sell this contract to the end buyer," and they're talking about the cash buyer. That's not the right language.
Okay, that
The
makes
end
sense.
buyer is the retail buyer. So with our end buyer and our seller, right? Once they are in an agreement and there's a close date set up, then they can set up the close date. No, once the agreement with our seller and their next property, that close date is set up, then you can set up the close date with our agreement. But you could just do everything like vague, like 60 days or sooner. Like it doesn't have to be a set freaking close date. It can be like 60 days or sooner, or 60 days if if under agreement on other property can close sooner, like whatever. This is
Yep.
real estate. You can literally write whatever on these agreements.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. Does that help?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to log it up with a vague timeline.
That's it. Like that's kind of the road that I was trying to get you to go down.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like thinking about all the logistics and everything is only going to mess your sales call up. So just think about, hey, what do I need to get done now? I just need to get an agreement signed and we'll figure it out later.
Yep. Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that was just my big question.
Yeah, bro, that's a really good deal. Get that joint locked up.
Mm-hmm. But in other news, Karen, I actually listened to your call with that seller today, and it was really, really good. Like I was, because she called me like 5 times, and I was like, "Who is this lady?" And then I just called her, and then I kind of was like lost in the story, so I kind of just listened to your call real quick, and it was a perfect call. Like I thought it was like one of those calls you see on YouTube and they're about to close. You know what I mean? Like Karen, you got really, really good in the, I don't even know, like in a month or something.
Let's go, Karen. Let's go.
So I was like, it's like, is this Karen? Like, damn.
I get some notifications like hot lead, get on the phone. She's gonna call another buyer at 3:00. I'm like, all right, let's lock it up. She sends it over. I call them, and all of a sudden she's getting calls from the whole team.
The whole team's working on it. We're like, damn, go.
But Karen, that's really good news. I'm gonna listen to that call. I'm proud of you. Like
Yeah.
she was talking highly of you. She wanted to hang up the phone on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting there about to go to the contract with her, and she's literally about to. She's like, "Are you sure? Should I not talk to Karen?" And I'm like, "Yeah, listen, Karen told me to give you a call. We're working on it together, so you're all set."
Yeah, actually, I listened to your call, and it says that you said that you would call her in another 20 minutes. So I was like counting the clock and looking at the clock. It's already 20 minutes, and I don't see any, and I don't see any notes of Mike having a conversation with that seller. So I was like, I'll try to give her a call because like,
yo,
it's
she's a
20
gangster.
minutes.
Karen is a gangster. Karen's like, oh,
She's
my
probably thinking there's another buyer on the phone right now. I got to get him off the phone and talk to me.
Karen's like, oh, you want to mess with my leads? You know what I'm saying? Like, hell no, I'm getting on the phone. I love that energy, Karen. Good job. Like that's so dope. I was thinking about it after. I was like, I wish that I didn't call the seller. I wish that I just kind of let you take care of it because I truly think that you could have just got it locked up 100%. Yep. So next time that happens, right? Let's get you to just make the offer and get her to sign the agreement. So if you go back to that phone call, like go back and listen to those conversations and hear like how calm I am and how I'm just like acting like it's just a walk in the park to get her to sign the agreement. And boom, 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 she signs it.
Yeah. I'll listen to that.
Love it. Karen, do you have any questions or?
So far I don't have any question, but have you spoken to Mitch today, Mike?
Mitch. No.
That's a
the
seller.
reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a call after this.
Okay.
Why don't I just call him right now? Okay, cool. But yeah, Karen, really good job today. Proud of that. How did that happen? Like, where'd that come from?
Open leads, and yeah, I
Holy
think
crap.
yeah. Well, I actually just called it without reading the notes. So while I was on the call, I was like, "Oh, this was someone you went into the
So you
appointment."
didn't even read the notes at all.
Yeah, with all these open leads, I wanna like just call them without reading the notes. So
Here's the thing, like, there's this thing in sub 2 called the nightly dial, right? And all it is Pace generates leads with his virtual assistants, and new wholesalers can come in and talk to the leads, right? And people like myself, Daryl, Olu, we all coach these people up on how to talk to sellers. So people get stressed because when the leads are sent, all it is it's a name, a phone number, and an address. Like, what the heck? I don't know who called and everything. Like, at the end of the day, it does not matter. It actually makes it better for you to not have all information, because now you have to do your job. You have to pull information. Because who knows if the last person that called did a good enough job of digging information, or if they're in a different situation. You better go figure that out. So I love that. But let's call this Mitch guy. Speaking of not reading notes, I have no idea what's going on with this league.
Well,
Hey, is this Mitch?
Stephen,
This is Mike. How you doing?
good.
Good, brother. My team was telling me about this property in Dudley.
What's that?
Karen on my team was talking about the property in Dudley. She's telling me that you're looking to sell it.
Hold on. Repeat that?
I said Karen on my team was telling me about this property in Dudley. She was telling me that you were looking to sell it.
No.
Oh, you're
No,
not.
I'm applying for a reverse mortgage at the moment.
Oh, got it. Okay. So you were never looking to sell it.
No, not this time.
Okay. So what were your plans to stay? Hi.
Hello, you've reached the cell phone.
Hello?
Hey, Mitch. We got lost here. I was trying to figure out what happened. I think my connection was bad. But anyways, you were saying that you were trying to stay in the property, or were you ever looking to sell it?
I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try this reverse mortgage. If that doesn't work, then I may be interested in selling it.
Okay, got it. So what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to stay there? Like, in a perfect world, would you rather stay there, or would you rather find a new place?
I'd rather say it, I'd rather die here. You know what I mean? I'm 60. I'm not ready for dead, but I'm not in a great health either. You know what I mean? So you gotta use common sense. I'm probably not gonna live another 15, 20 years, you know? So I own the house outright, you know what I mean? I'm on a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get a reverse mortgage, that would put a lump of money in my pocket. And if I sell it, then I have to move, you know what I mean? And I do have to move.
Okay, but moving.
I'm up in the air until I understand this reverse mortgage thing. I haven't done it yet, you know what I mean? My birthday next, in 2 months.
Oh, love
I
it.
can't apply for 2 months.
Got it. Okay.
I'll keep your phone number.
Okay, well, just
Not to go the other way, I will contact you first, and you can come here with me and have a chat.
yeah, sounds like I actually used to do reverse mortgages myself. I used to give them out. And essentially, what it looks like when a bank gives out a reverse mortgage, it is like their loan to own program. Right? So what happens is,
Yeah, I have friends that have done it. I have friends that have done it. It's fine.
okay, so you don't have any questions with the reverse mortgage.
What's that?
I said you don't have any questions about it.
Not this time.
Okay, got it. When should my team follow up?
60 days.
All right. Well, I'll have Karen on my team give you a call back in 60 days if we can help you out at
I
all.
think I'm losing.
No worries. I said my team will give you a call back in 60 days, and if we can help you out, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Mike, you there?
Yeah. So here's the thing, Karen. With that guy,
Mike, I'll be honest with you. I think you're lagging, man. I don't think anyone can hear you.
dang. Okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
No. I think is it raining over there?
It was.
Mm.
Anyways, Karen, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for that guy, right, we got to figure out why he would ever sell the property. Like, what's going on? That's what I was trying to figure out what would happen. Like, why would he ever want to entertain selling it? There's definitely something there. It was just like pulling teeth, trying to get some information, right? So for this guy, I would give him a call back. I would give him, like, if this was in my pipeline, I would give him a call back and just know that I have to get more information on why he would ever sell the property, right? And go from there. It sounds like he just didn't want to give up any information at the moment. So this is somebody that I would go in a little bit different on the next call. Make sense? Did he give you a reason why he wants to sell and what his situation is? Or did he just say he's getting a reverse mortgage to buy?
Yeah. I think the last time we spoke, I think he had a house. He had a house in Delaware, which is um his a military base or something like that. And he might be planning to like, oh, I'm not sure. Wait, hold on. Um Let me check on my notes.
Okay, don't worry about it. Anyways, we got to figure out why he would ever want to sell the property. But it's just somebody that you just got to go in a little bit different for the next call. Like if it was
Yeah.
a lead that was in my pipeline, I would just go in a little bit different for the next one.
Yeah.
Follow
Okay.
up on the reverse mortgage. How's the reverse mortgage going? And then I would be super curious. Hey, so just
Okay.
curious, like what's got you considering actually not even doing the reverse mortgage and selling the property, right? Going in like that and being curious.
Got it.
Cool. All right, people. Silverhomies.com. If you guys have any leads, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate y'all. Felipe, Karen. I need the Brett Daniels belt that we can ring. Karen with a contract today. We'll call her Contract Karen. We have, if you guys know, do you guys know Colleen?
I've seen you tag her a few times.
Yeah, we have a competition. We got to get 5 deals this week. We're currently at 2. We need 3 more. We got to get a deal a day this week.
All right.
Rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
All right, people. Peace.
Peace.